Welcome to round 3 of the eStockCar World Series here on Maconi Entertainment. Tonight the drivers head to Atlanta Motor Speedway, but with a twist. The old scan known as the Legacy Track. My name is Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth tonight is Will Tiller, the bearded sim racer himself, Ryan Bauer working the controls as our producer, and the camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. Tonight is race number 3 of this 15-race eStockCar World Series season. We started at the classic super speedway of Daytona, then headed west to Las Vegas to roll the dice at our first mile and a half of the season. Well, now we hop back in our virtual race haulers and head all the way back east to another mile and a half oval, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I mentioned this isn't the current scan of the classic track down in Georgia. We are racing what is known as the Legacy Scan, which is an older version that was traditionally very low in grip and quite bumpy. And to learn a little bit more about this track, we're actually going to take a look at this track map. You see, it is a mile and a half in length. The only thing it really has, similar to Las Vegas, which we raced last week, and 28 degrees in the banking. We're going to be doing, let's see here, I'm actually going to be looking this up here. 70 laps here tonight in the NASCAR Trucks. We're going to have 1 fast repair available to all of the competitors and 3 green-white checkered flag attempts. Going to be racing on a fixed setup as well, and so that means all of these trucks are identical in terms of speed on the racetrack, and that usually keeps the action quite close and the trucks packed together. And as I say that, I'm actually looking at this qualifying order, and things are very, very tight up at the top, and the trucks only had 5 minutes to qualify. We're actually done with that, and now we have our starting grid with our pole sitter, the 013 Aiden Beerline, very familiar at the front of this field here in the eStockCar World Series. Next to him on the front row is Hayes Booth. Third place, Nate Stewart. Joining him on the second row is Keaton Swain of the 21 truck. Joey Masevich rounding out the top 5. In 6th place there we have Sean Williams. 7th, Barrett Polimas. Paul Mikologic in the 8th spot. Tyler Green 9th. Lance Marsh rounding out the top 10. Will, you there for 11th?
I sure am. 11th is going to be Zach Wheeler in that 20. 12th is going to be Riley Marabello in that 92. In 13th, we have Oliver Golding in the 70. In 14th, we have Matthew Jarrett in the 81. 15th, Eric Whitner. 16th is Connor Berry, a guy who's had a pretty strong season so far. 17th, Nathan Ramsey in that 4. 18th is Anthony Marsh in that 34. 19th is Jordan Neeson in that 8. And 20th is last week's winner, Blake Reynolds in that 66.
Christopher Fathke there in 21st place. Troy Nissen 22nd. Nicholas Dashley 23rd. Christy King 24th. Matthew Hofert 26th spot. Patrick O'Toole and Brian Toller round out the 28 trucks that are going to be taking the green flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, taking a look at the weather, 75 degree ambient, 81 degrees on the track for the temperature. Not too bad right now, and something we'll keep an eye on because I'm actually looking at the virtual time, and it is sped up by 8 times. Looks like we're going to be racing from the daytime into the nighttime this race, so that means the car, or I should say the trucks, are going to be getting faster as the race goes on. But Will, I mentioned it, this is the Legacy Scan. Low grip, quite bumpy compared to what we know now is Atlanta.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more bumpy, a lot more wear on those tires. We were actually watching that practice session before we came on air today. The drivers have a lot of difficulty going on that high side on the racetrack. So we're going to see a low tire, a lot of tire saving going on, because as you broke it down to start off this broadcast here tonight, Joey, it's only going to be 3 sets of tires for these drivers in a 70-lap shootout from this old school Atlanta track.
Now we only have 1 pace lap here for these trucks, and they're headed down the back straightaway currently. Like I said, Aiden Beerline has the pole for today at Atlanta. Aiden is one of the regular front runners here at this eStockCar World Series, but actually Nate Stewart that I'm seeing is the first qualifier that has stood on the podium, and he stood on the podium in both of the first two races. He was second at Daytona and also second place at Las Vegas. Is today going to be the day that Nate Stewart in that number 14 truck finally takes home the checkered flag at the top step? And we see Barney here with the green flag in his hand. Aiden slowly bringing the field down. Really late jump to green as you see it. Field gets pretty stacked up here behind him, and Nate Stewart's going to go ahead and opt to push Aiden Beerline out front. It's 2x2 there for second place, and then Joey Masevich and Keaton Swain leading the 2x2 behind them.
Yeah, pretty tight right now down the backstretch, heading down into 3. We talked about Nate Stewart in that 14 truck trying to break through after 2 podium finishes here. As we come off of 3, we're side by side for the lead.
It'd be really interesting to see the different grooves of the legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway, because we already see Nate Stewart down low, but we're 3 wide now, going into turn 1 for the race lead on lap number 2. That's Hayes Booth in the number 5 truck making it work through the middle, which is now the top groove. Nate Stewart in the 14 machine staying low on the racetrack, and then also Joey Masevich taking a peek down low in that 3rd spot. Now he gets that spot done, and it's still Hayes Booth side by side with Nate Stewart to complete lap 2.
Yeah, very tight right now for the lead, still side by side. We're battling out into the corner. Hayes Booth and Nate Stewart for the lead right now. Single file past the leaders.
Oh no, looks like one of the trucks got into the wall a little bit further back. I think that's Tyler Green, just got a little bit wide up off of 2, lost a little momentum. Not too much damage, but definitely lost some track position. And Will, as I see this race starting to unfold, you know, there's already a couple trucks with some damage on the back wing, which can't be good. The competitors are trying to bump draft, and we're actually 3 wide off of turn 2 with the number 70. There's the first wreck of the day, and we've got a yellow flag on the racetrack coming off of turn 2. This all started with the number 70 truck, and oh no, look, we got cars on the roof.
Lots of carnage here coming off of turn number 2. It's so easy for that to happen here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, especially on the old layout. You just get a little bit slick on corner exit, carrying so much speed on such an old bumpy surface. We'll see it here on the replay. 3 wide doesn't quite work. A tiny little bump causes all that chaos, and then more wrecks come in from behind as they're all trying to avoid it. And that 70 truck is ping-ponged up and down the track, goes up and over end over end. I think he slid the entire backstretch on his roof.
Yeah, you see the 70 here take it 3 wide all the way up top. We're riding on board with Connor Berry. See how he's able to navigate this mess. You see nothing but smoke in front of him, and just unfortunate for Connor Berry again. It seems like whenever there's a yellow flag on the racetrack, that Connor Berry in the number 2 truck is involved, but an innocent bystander. But Jeff, nice to have you in the booth. Introduce you to everybody. This is Jeff Maconi that's going to be joining me here in the commentary booth for now. And unfortunately, there was a lot of innocent bystanders there in that wreck. Just 3 wide off of turn 2 so early. I don't think those competitors were ready for that one.
It's a lot to get used to, especially when we've been on the new version of Atlanta since it released here, and you have to be ready for it, and it's really hard to prepare for, I guess is the best thing to say. And someone came flying in there at the end, I'd call it ARCA brakes, but I mean, calling that braking would be doing it a disservice. I think that was Nicholas Deschalette in the 23, came flying in there, and a lot of drivers piled in. So you mentioned Connor Berry's had some real rough luck, but he should be able to get that car repaired just enough. If I'm him, though, I'm holding on for a little while. I'm not using that fast repair quite yet. And we'll have to see who the big winner of this is so far, managed to get through and stay ahead of all that mess.
Now, I agree with you, and it doesn't look like Connor's using that fast repair yet. However, he has heavy heavy damage on his number 2 truck. I'm looking at it's got front end damage. It's both fenders are banged up. The entire right side is scraped up on that number 2 truck. And while he isn't going to take his fast repair, it looks like he will go 1 lap down here on the racetrack. And Jeff, that can be significant because last race at Las Vegas, we had a couple early yellows, but then it went green for the majority of the race. And if you don't get the lap back and stay on the lead lap, it's uphill from there on.
It definitely is an uphill battle, but the only other truck that he's going to be racing, well, I shouldn't say, but you have to also consider the only other truck that he's going to be racing is the 77 of Paul, and I think that's McColowitz, and he did take his fast repair. So the truck that Connor Berry is going to be racing for the Lucky Dog is fully repaired, and Connor Berry, to say the least, is not. That truck, the whole front end is destroyed. He'll be lucky if he doesn't blow it up there, but these drivers are getting ready to come back to the green flag, so time is of the essence for Connor Berry. He may just be repairing as much as he can now. He may have just gotten up and walked away as well. That's a genuine possibility here.
Yeah, I've got my eye on him, but the field is in the hands of Hayes Booth, the number 5 truck there on the bottom of your screen, and he's got everybody stacked up 2 by 2. We'll see if he jumps early on the gas. We've got green flag, pretty late jump from the number 5 truck, kind of like what we saw on the initial start. And this time we see Joey Masevich now challenging Nate Stewart on that low line as these trucks start to accelerate up through the gears on this lap. Everybody's still getting up to speed, and you see Nate Stewart tuck in behind Masevich, decide to push him down the back straightaway.
Make the smart decision. Nate Stewart made the smart decision there. He's going to tuck up behind the guy in front of him. He could have taken the run, gone to the inside, and been side by side. Neither one of them would have been able to make the pass here on the 5, though, like Joey Masevich is about to do. Looks to the outside, no room there. Looks to the inside now, side by side. That late jump that Masevich got let him draft down the backstretch. Nate Stewart gave him a push, put the 64 to the lead. Nate Stewart's now back in 3rd. He's also hunting the number 5 of Hayes Booth, who sits in 2nd right behind Joey.
I think that was just a little bit of the extra momentum and these trucks getting up to speed, but Joey Masevich took advantage of that and just drove right around the number 5 truck, and he is now our leader. And here we're riding on board with Hayes Booth. I love getting these onboard shots. I tell you what, Hayes looks pretty calm and collected behind the wheel of his virtual number 5 truck right now. I think he's plenty content to just hang out behind Joey Masevich, kind of bust out the notepad and say, hey, all right, where is this 64 truck faster? Where am I faster than him? And let's start adding to these notes so I can just make me a better racer for later in the race.
And I may be biased on this one, but I am Joey Masevich's crew chief for Road to Pro, and we do a lot of racing together. And I can tell you from experience, Joey is very good at saving his tires and not letting himself overdrive the truck or get baited into overdriving. So if Hayes Booth is right up there, right behind him, Joey won't falter. Or if Hayes Booth is doing what he's doing now and laying back, Joey's not going to go out and burn his stuff off. So if you're going to be following anyone, if I'm out in the field, I don't want it to be behind Joey because he is very skilled at saving your tires and keeping a good, steady pace without overdriving the truck. And I can tell you that from experience.
Riding on board with Barrett Polinas here as he's battling side by side. You see just a little bit of understeer, and he almost got into Sean Williams, but check this out. What that's done is it's opened the door for Tyler Green on the bottom side, and this is just a factor of this old Atlanta Motor Speedway as you get shoved up off of your groove a little bit, got to make a correction, and a train of cars goes underneath, but good correction from Barrett here. He's already back up on it, trying to go underneath the 69 of Tyler Green on the racetrack, and now we're seeing these 2 lines start to form up a little bit where the high groove can kind of trap this lower lane down on the corner exit, but ultimately here it's about avoiding the bumps and staying in control of your truck around what is going to be 70 laps tonight here in Atlanta.
70 laps does not sound like much, but when you are out there for 5-10 laps on those tires, you are already begging for new ones. So these drivers, you may see Atlanta Motor Speedway think 70 laps, it's not that bad. These drivers are already feeling the effects of those tires. You see them sliding up the track a bit. The high line is very strong right now. There's a side-by-side battle for second. There's a side-by-side battle back there for around 10th or so. And look in the mirror of Barrett Polhemus. You got Blake Reynolds working his way up through the field. That is not someone that you want to see building momentum and making passes.
Blake Reynolds always one of the front runners here in this eStockCar World Series, and actually taking a look at the results. I mentioned Nate Stewart had finished third in Daytona and also second at Las Vegas. Well, Blake Reynolds there finished second at Daytona and won the last time out at Las Vegas. So never count the 66 machine of Blake Reynolds out of anything. And look at this action. It's not quite 3 wide, but they're trying to make it 4 wide, aren't they, Jeff?
4 wide action almost here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that stemmed from Tyler Green about a lap ago, catching the wall off of turn number 2, got a little bit out of shape, managed to hold on to it. You saw last lap, everyone sort of jumped to the inside and duck low. Blake Reynolds was the one leading that pack, and he is on a tear. If we can get a camera right there on Blake Reynolds, the number 66, moves right down in front of Sean Williams once he's clear of him, and he's got his sights set on Keaton Swain now. But Blake Reynolds started in 20th, and he's all the way up to 5th and gaining quickly on Nate Stewart and Joey Masevich, who are about to be battling for the lead by the looks of it.
And I can't say that I'm surprised with this number 66 truck, because this has kind of been a thing. Is actually, it looks like the 14 is going to give a battle to Joey Masevich coming off of turn 4. This is a battle for the lead. The 14 is going to carry the momentum down the front straightaway. He does, in fact, lead that lap. Nate Stewart, our new leader, and looks like he has been able to save something behind Joey Masevich. And now that he's got Blake Reynolds and Hayes Booth with him, looks like they're turning things up a notch, as we also see the 5 truck go ahead and get on by Masevich going down the back straightaway. And what do you think about this, Jeff? You think that these couple trucks were waiting for Blake Reynolds? Because traditionally what we've seen is these 3 have been together on the radio, and looks like they're doing the same thing tonight.
I don't know if they were waiting for him or if they saw him coming and went, oh, you know what? Because once you see someone as fast as Blake Reynolds back in your mirror and he's right on top of you and you know he started in 20th, that is going to scare the daylights out of you, and you know you have to get moving now. It's very hard to make passes here at Atlanta after about 15, 20 laps. We're getting towards that point here, so I think those guys just saw Blake Reynolds coming, especially Hayes Booth, and said, all right, time to go. Stepped on the gas and now to the front for them. But Blake Reynolds sitting in 3rd, he is just stalking his prey. We'll see how much he wants to play with this food as he goes all the way to the 3rd lane, trying to make a pass on these guys with a lot of momentum down the backstretch coming.
Yeah, here he comes. It's the same move that Hayes Booth just did last lap. Went very high up in turn 1, squared off the corner, and just gets a huge head of steam down the back straightaway. The 66 goes ahead and clears Nate Stewart, and now 66 up into 2nd place. Hayes Booth in the lead, and we also got Keaton Swain trying to get around Joey Masevich back there for the 4th place. 21 truck is trying to get it done on the low side of the racetrack, but we've seen the high line just be so dominant off of turn 2, and there, sure enough, Joey Masevich carries that momentum right back on by Keaton Swain.
That battle is back there for 4th place. Up towards the front, though, Nate Stewart is falling off of this battle between Blake Reynolds and Hayes Booth. That's about to heat up. You see there is no emotion on Hayes Booth's face right there, but I guarantee you he is awfully worried and about to break a sweat here. Blake Reynolds going to make the same move, the big run off of turn number 2. He's going to duck down to the inside of Hayes Booth right here, side by side entering the corner, maybe keep him a little high right there. And he's almost kind of nearly sort of clear. Drive it in hard with the loud pedal and get clear off of turn number 4. Put Blake Reynolds to the point. In 22 laps, he goes from 20th to 1st.
Great drive from Blake Reynolds, and you saw Hayes Booth with the big smile coming out of turn 4 saying, did this guy really just do that? All right, let's see if I can get back up there. But I haven't seen the high line work in turns 3 like I've seen it work in turn 1, but now that the 66 is out front, We'll see what kind of single car pace he's got. He's been in dirty air. He's had the benefit of the slipstream all night. And Jeff, I actually think that this is a great self-portrait that you've got on this Sean Williams hood.
Yeah, that is me. I've grown my hair out, and I'm feeling 16. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I'm very glad that he decided to honor me in this fashion by putting me all over his truck like that. So thank you, Sean. I really do appreciate it.
Great livery from the 89. I gotta say so myself. And it's great to have fun out there. This is what it's all about. You gotta have fun out on the racetrack. And here you see some battles coming off of turn 4. I'm trying to catch who exactly this is on the racetrack here. This is the 79 from what I'm seeing on the side of this board, and they're battling up off of turn 2.
That
Looks
is
like
Barrett Behemoth, yeah, and he is trying to hold off a hard-charging Riley Marabello, who is up 4 spots so far from the start. Riley going to look to the high side, Barrett defending low. We see that high line move work really, really well off of turn number 2. Not so much off of turn 4. On board there with Barrett Behemoth, looking out the back bumper. We'll see here if Riley decides to go to the high side in 1 and 2. He does, but Barrett is going to chase him up there and block. Don't let him get that big run over you. Take the big run for yourself. That is a good move defending there from Barrett in the 79.
Yeah, you see Marabello trying to get the run, see where the clean air he can get, and flirting with the wall up in turns 3 and 4. Like we mentioned, haven't really seen the high line capitalize off of turn 4 like we've seen it off of turn 2. But here comes Riley Marabello. He is making that work, and down low, he's got to be able to clear Barrett Behemoth off of turn 2. He's not quite there, and here you see the 79 just be able to drive right around, and that's the difference between the two lines, is that if the 92 can't clear him down low, just that top line has so much momentum to keep driving around the outside. And here we're jumping up to Keaton Swain. This is the number 21 truck taking a look down the inside of Joey Masevich, and also got Shane Williamson in the 6th spot just behind Keaton. So this is 3 trucks on the racetrack for 4th place, and Masevich actually makes a little bit of nudge with the wall, little bit of a momentum loss. You see Keaton Swain now get to the inside of turn 3. This may be the overtaking point, and it looks like, Will, do we have you back in the booth?
Yes, sir. You have me back in the booth right now. I've been watching this crazy action up here with you guys. Been a frantic pace so far. Everybody's jockeying for positions right now. I saw that sweet move that Reynolds made on Hayes Booth up at the top. Hayes Booth, though, is still confident in his abilities, but we're watching all sorts of battles take place off the corner.
Well, I'm not sure what is going on with the number 64 truck, Joey Masevich. I'm going to try to take a look, see if I get any damage on this truck, but I'm not seeing anything. I think it's just these other competitors have figured out this fixed setup a little bit quicker than the 64 truck, but I think that if we get a yellow, do not count Joey Masevich out, as we actually see Hayes Booth coming down pit road. This is the first runner to make a strategic call down into the pit stall.
No, I do believe that's he pits up tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like we'll see what kind of dominoes this starts to fall. Is, oh no, looks like Joey Masevich had the same idea, but could not get it slowed down on the racetrack, and he is losing all sorts of time on the front straightaway. This is disaster for this 64 truck, because not only did he miss pit road, he's going to lose all these track position, but he's going to finally have to come down pit road and get that fixed.
Yeah, for Joey, though, making that side contact with the wall, it just snowballed. Since then, Joey and watching Masevich here tonight, he was really strong the first 2 races of the season. Now here tonight, just struggling just a little bit. Maybe throw a fast repair on that thing and get a good finish here out of this race.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any damage, but he's going to have to come down pit road again. It's essentially like serving a penalty. You know, you missed your box and have to come down and get it all fixed. But look at what this has done. Hayes Booth, the first one to come down pit road. Now we've got several trucks just kind of coming down pit road. Every lap you get a few more trickled down there, but one thing's for sure, Blake Reynolds has not come down pit road yet. He continues to lay down laps on the racetrack, working lap number 28. Lap number 33 of this current fuel run, and gonna see how far he can stretch this truck, as it looks like actually the car behind him just got into the wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was. Looked like maybe it was a lap truck in the mix there, but one thing that stands out to me here tonight, Joey, is that Blake's just been super smooth around this racetrack. We talked about how the rough asphalt here, it's the old layout of Atlanta, it's going to be bumpy, it's going to be a lot of wear on the tires. But for Blake, he's just coasting. You see him on the inside track of these corners, very clean, very precise, just making easy work of this old school track.
And one thing to note, the reason why I was a little confused, we're working lap 34, but Blake Reynolds is 29 laps on his stint. That means that he came down pit road during that first yellow flag that we had, topped off with gas most likely, and that's a great strategy calls, because that means that Blake Reynolds can just put this extra bit of laps on everybody else comparatively, and maybe trap somebody a lap down if we get a yellow flag on the racetrack. I actually see Nate Stewart heading out of pit road, and the other drivers that are in the same same position as Blake Reynolds I'm seeing is Shane Williamson, Eric Whitner, and Christy King.
You see that line right up at the top there, but you also see beer line right there in 50 of Hayes Booth already up right there. So that's leader.
And then looks like we have, let's see here, the top 4 runners still on the racetrack. They have not pitted yet. Everyone else has come down. If we remember, it was Hayes Booth that really triggered these green flag stops, and I've got my eye on Hayes because he is still on the lead lap right now, even though he's just in front of our leader. Hayes is coming out of turn number 2 right now, while Blake Reynolds is in turn 2. But the reason why I mention this is that we'll see if Hayes Booth put on some tires. I suspect he did, given that this is such an old surface. And Jeff, talk to me a little bit about what we see with an undercut. How much tires are worth on this racetrack?
Tires are everything on this racetrack, so pitting short will give you a definite short-term advantage. But staying out long like Blake Reynolds is, he could cut out an entire pit stop here. Looks like to me that he's on the clutch, he's saving fuel, and trying to eliminate a pit stop from the race. Now, I'm not sure that I would go with that strategy, personally. It all depends on your scenario, but Blake is confident enough that he can save enough fuel and be all right. Now, he's about 2 seconds per lap off the pace, so it's going to be very difficult to be able to make this work, but cutting out an entire pit stop could save you up to 40 seconds.
Oh no, and he just got turned from Tyler Green in the number 69 truck. I actually think it was the 66 slowing down to come to pit road, and the 69 of Tyler Green just got into the back of our leader. We do have a full course yellow on the racetrack that's going to save Blake Reynolds, but here we're going to get the replay. We see the 66, the yellow truck low on the racetrack. He's going to check up to come to pit road, and man, the 69 has got to look a little bit further ahead. I know that the 66 was still on the racetrack, but that's where he's got to be to slow down, and Tyler Green just straight runs over our leader here.
Oof.
You see how fast it happens. I'm not gonna put too much fault on Tyler Green. You see how fast it happens, and these trucks can't just change direction like that, but man, that's a tough break for the 66.
Yeah, Jeff, I'll throw it on over to you as race control and as a spotter on the racetrack here tonight. How did you see that with the 66?
That's just unfortunate that there was no call out in advance or any warning for the drivers behind that Blake Reynolds was going to be pitting. It's very hard, though. I think what he meant to do was brake and get onto the apron, but it's so difficult to do that and get down onto the apron while under braking here because it's so slick. I think the truck, he tried to pull it down and it just didn't respond the way he needed it to. So very unfortunate incident there for Blake Reynolds. I think he's gonna take his fast repair here. It looks like he does. So get that truck back in perfect condition. Now, some of the other trucks on track here, though, it makes it very, very difficult in terms of pit strategy. A lot of people are going to be taking the waiver rounds here because they were all held a lap down. But at Atlanta, when you put even 2 laps on the tires, you're already behind the 8 ball and you need to take new tires immediately. So huge, huge advantage here for those lead lap cars, the ones that were left, Blake Reynolds, Crystal King, the ones that were still on the lead lap. And huge disadvantage as well to the drivers who were stuck a lap down after pitting that now need to take the waiver round here, can't come and get fresh tires. They are going to be significantly slower than the trucks that were on the lead lap that just pit.
One saving grace that Blake Reynolds had is that he was the leader, and so he was able to get the truck back going, and like you said, took that fast repair. It's got a nice clean truck, and I'm looking on the racetrack right now and I see maybe it's only Sean Williams. No, I see it as everything is cycling out as they passed the start finish line once again. Blake Reynolds continues to lead the race. Hayes Booth, who also came down pit road, joins him there in second place. And you're right, Jeff, I think the biggest mover out of that, or one of the biggest movers, is definitely Christy King in the number 12 truck. I want to highlight her because she was one of the trucks that stayed out on the racetrack. She was saving fuel, stayed out that whole time, and when that yellow flag happened, she came down with the rest of the pack, and you see there, started way back in the 24th spot, but now finds herself up in the 7th position. Christy King with a really good run so far here at Atlanta.
Very lucky call on the pit strategy there. I think even if it had gone green and they had stayed out as long as they did, they would have been okay and still cycled out fairly well. Those new tires are just such an incredible advantage over old tires here at Atlanta. The old scan of it, it's hard to understate how much the tires just fall off a cliff at this place and just how much the truck changes in terms of drivability over the course of even 5 laps, let alone 40 laps or 30 laps on a fuel run.
Well, I want to do something a little bit different here on this restart. We're going to be working 29 laps to go here, and let's pick a truck. I'm going to go ahead and say the number 14 of Nate Stewart, one of our fastest trucks. I want to go ahead, ride on board here with him for this first full lap of the restart, see what kind of momentum he gets out of this second row up top. He's got Hayes Booth in front of him in that number 5 truck, but it's Blake Reynolds in the yellow 66 that's going to lead the field. And then next to Nate is Keaton Swain in that purple 21 that you see on the screen. But here we are. This is the point of view here on the restart, working 28 laps to go.
28 laps to go. Up front, though, it's going to be a little bit of controlled chaos. Blake Reynolds gets out front. Hayes Booth now in second, but he is getting pushed like you wouldn't believe from Nate Stewart. But a caution is out immediately afterwards, and that looks to be a big one.
Oof.
I see Lance Marsh there was the first one that I caught, but looks like that wreck started with Nicholas Deschalette. Comes back out on track and just spins the tires there on the old tires, and a big pileup ensues right after.
Gonna catch this replay here, and it's on the restart like you mentioned, Jeff, and it's so tricky with this low grip racetrack. Even on new tires, you see just the wheel spin that all of the trucks have, not just one of them, but I'm seeing multiple trucks just struggle with the acceleration, trying to shift up through the gears, put all the horsepower down, and that's just a character here of the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. You see Lance Marsh get into the back of what is the 23, as well as the 84, still losing it in front of them. And it looks a little bit like an ice skating rink out there, doesn't it?
And that's exactly what it feels like when you are behind the wheel. It's just ice out there. You cannot get any grip at all. You can spin the tires on 2-lap-old tires, and these guys are out there on 5, 10-lap-old tires. It's very difficult to make a restart happen here.
Well, we are under yellow flag, and it looks like some checkup is happening on the front straightaway. Ooh, that was really close. I think the number 12 of Christy King just got into the back of one of the competitors. Hopefully not any damage there. And with that being said, we do have another lap under the pace car here. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with this restart working. Probably lap 24 to go.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Here we are for the eStockCar World Series, race number 3 of this 15 race championship, working here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but the track known as the Legacy Scan. It is not the current Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the old, low grip, bumpy Atlanta that we all know and love. And got Jeff Maconi joining me in the booth. I know that Will Tiller is hopping in and out. He's fighting Skynet right now with his internet issues, and we've seen a little bit of this low grip racetrack bite some of the competitors here just on this most recent restart, Jeff.
It's so easy to get into a lull here and just fall into a rhythm, and it can very quickly and very easily come back to bite you. And I think that's what we saw there. Just a little bit of wheel spin there caused that pile up. So now that gives a lot of drivers that had to stay out on those old tires an opportunity to come down pit road, take a fast repair, get damage repaired, and most importantly, get 4 fresh tires.
Well, and Will, I want to toss it over to you if we've got you. And I know that you've been able to take a little bit more of a back seat so far and observe what's been going on. Anything stand out to you so far? Well, it looks like Skynet has struck again. Will is just struggling, battling the future machines over there, and I'm sure that we'll get him back in the booth, but looks like the lights are out on the pace car, and that means we're going to be going back racing here, this time by, surprise, surprise, the number 66 machine still out in front. He is going to be in control of this restart. And so, Jeff, give me a little bit of preview. If you were to give me the genie ball here, are we going to see another quick yellow flag, or are we going to see a longer green flag run?
Oh, I'm bringing back the crystal balls, huh? Well, after rubbing the crystal balls, I think that we will see another caution in approximately 4 laps with 20 to go, and then everyone will come down and pit, and we'll have another caution with 4 laps to go. That's my prediction.
All right, well, you heard it here. Jeff Maconi saying another couple cautions, but right now, green flag on the racetrack. Barney so excited to get these trucks racing again, and looks like all of them do get accelerated up through the front straightaway this time. Better than what we saw on our last restart. The 66 of Blake Reynolds continues to accelerate away from the pack. Nate Stewart on the low line. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of help from Keaton Swain now out of the 21 truck down low.
And Blake Reynolds is going to see that run, and he's going to block it now. Nate Reynolds is firmly in second place, side by side for third. Keaton Swain on the bottom. Nate Stewart with a power move right there is going to look to the inside of Blake Reynolds, but we've seen how strong the outside of turns 1 and 2 is. Nate Stewart is going to have to get clear here, but I don't see that happening as they are side by side in turns 1 and 2. Blake Reynolds on the outside, Nate Stewart on the inside. Blake Reynolds really pushing it on exit, almost gets into the wall.
Yeah, but the one difference here, Jeff, is that these drivers are on fresh tires, and I think that the low line is king these first couple laps when you do have that grip versus once everything starts to fall off. But Nate Stewart takes command of the race again. The 14 truck out front leading the 66 of Blake Reynolds. That's Keaton Swain in that purple truck. I mentioned him, he's more of an off-road racer. This oval stuff is not necessarily his thing, and here is what I believe another onboard shot. This is gonna be Hayes Booth in the third spot, trying to keep it this 3-car train, but here comes the 69 of Tyler Green making that top line work. He's already up alongside the 66.
Looks like the outside lane is working a bit further back. You see Joey Masevich, he's making the outside lane work as well, but up towards the front, you see it. Blake Reynolds now falling victim to Tyler Green with a big run on the outside. Tyler Green is going to be clear for a second, goes for the crossover, thinks better of it, but he's going to tuck in right behind Nate Stewart. And look at Tyler Green. He really, really wants that lead.
Tyler Green showing a lot of speed out here, and let me tell you something, race car drivers do not forget things that happen on the racetrack. And if you remember, it was Tyler Green that got into the back of Blake Reynolds to bring out that yellow not just too long ago. And I don't think that Blake Reynolds holds any grudges like that, but like I said, they never forget a thing.
No, they do not. And one truck is around a bit further back. That is the 60 of Lance Marsh, but it's on the inside wall. We're going to stay green here. I predicted with 20 to go, we got a caution, and 19 to go, there was a wreck. So I'll consider that.
There's the wreck that you were calling for.
Keaton Swain gets involved and spun around like a top right there. He's still spinning, just now came to a stop.
I'm not sure who it was. It might have been Zach Wheeler, maybe Sean Williams, but you're going to see the 21 truck. Keaton Swain, keep your eye on the purple truck down low. He's going to get hooked hard up into the outside fence here. I think it was, looks to be 89. It's the self-portrait of you, Jeff. What are you doing out there?
On further review of this, I think it was just an instance of tunnel vision there. Keaton Swain was locked in on that back bumper of Zach Wheeler and was so focused on following right behind him that when Zach moved up a little bit to block the run from the 89, the 21 also followed, and just push came to shove there, and really Keaton Swain and Sean Williams came together, but Sean Williams didn't have anywhere to go. Keaton just followed the 20 up.
And yeah, we're going to ride on board with Troy Nissen here, see exactly what happened. I think that maybe Paul McLogic was also involved in this. Yeah, see, you see Paul here. That's what I was. It's Eric Whitner. Eric Whitner in the 75. This is the truck that I was looking at, and just a serious case of the netcode issue. And with this yellow flag, Jeff, now the crystal ball wasn't too far off. It was maybe the magic 8 ball that you were looking at instead of the crystal ball. That's why you were thrown off by just a couple laps. But we've got a parade down pit road, but couple race trucks stay out on the racetrack.
Yep, and leading the way is Joey Masevich. Now, I mentioned earlier I'm his crew chief, and I'm clearly here in the booth and not up on the box for him. Because if I was up on the box for him, I would have climbed down and run out on the racetrack and started strangling him. I don't think that this is the correct strategy. When everyone else is pit, Joey Masevich has damage, and he is going to certainly be struggling here to hold on to the lead. A couple cars stayed out, I think 5, 6 may have stayed out, but I'm definitely of the opinion that you come down and pit right here, especially if you have any sort of damage, and get those fresh tires. With 16 to go, it's just too long out on the track, and I don't think we're going to see another immediate caution. If you're staying out, your hope, though, is that you run 2 laps at most 2 laps, and see another caution. This is a very gutsy pit strategy, or very gutsy non-pit strategy, I should say.
Agreed. And with that said, we're still under yellow flag here. Got another couple pace laps, and I want to bring you up to speed on another event that is coming up here in just a few days' time. This is the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet, all broadcasted live here on Maconi Entertainment. And if you're interested at all in what you see on the screen, head over to www.maconisetupshop.com. Click on over to event signups. You can find out more about this information, but basically how it works is you can pay to enter one event for $10 or enter all of the events for $40, and it's kind of the NASCAR ladder system. Start off in the Legends at the Charlotte Mini Oval and end up in the NASCAR Next Gen cars at Daytona. You see $50 takes home the first race. It escalates all the way up to $250 for the winner of that next gen race. Not only that, but the championship winner also gets a custom trophy. Lots of really cool players are going to be involved in this. And like I said, the first event here is just a few days away on Saturday, January 21st. If you're interested at all, go over to www.maconisetupshop.com. Click on event signups and find out more, and even better, go sign up.
I'm a bit biased on this, but I do highly recommend signing up for this event. It's very cool. I'm very excited for this one, especially. We've put in a lot of work behind the scenes organizing it, and so it goes. These are all full-length events: Legends, late models, super late models, ARCA cars using the actual ARCA cars from the real world, not the old Twisted Sister ARCA car that we have on iRacing, but we're actually going to use the old generation Cup car with a weight and power penalty, the trucks, the Xfinity cars, and the next gens. We have the point system all laid out. It's scaling points, so the first week it's 25 points up for grabs, all the way up to 125 points up to win in the Daytona 500 event that we are having. It's going to be very, very cool. I'm very excited for it. You can catch all the action for it right here on Maconi Entertainment. $40 to sign up. You win a race, you're already profiting, even if it's the Legends race on Saturday. Very cool series. I'm very excited for it. So be sure to check it out, sign up, and follow along. But they are getting ready here for a restart with 14 laps to go. A lot of cars out there on old tires, and I'm not so confident if I'm out there on old stuff.
All right, looks like we're going to pick Hayes Booth here on this restart, working 13 laps to go. Field is in the hand of Masevich on the old tires. Let's ride on board here as we get this green flag. Oh, we already have problems. That is the wheel spin, the low grip nature of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Track blockage on the front straightaway. We saw it all unfold here as we were riding on board with Hayes Booth. Had the best look at that incident. And Jeff, it just looked like wheel spin on the start again.
Go did. Yeah, that was just wheel spin. Joey Masevich, as the leader, gets to choose when he goes. And so he knows how much power he needs to put down over what area, because he knows when he's starting. If you are second in line on that outside, it's very difficult to tell. And when you hear that leader jump, your natural instinct is to stand on the gas and get going. But on the old tires here, that will absolutely spin you around, and you see it. He just has trouble getting going, and it spins just a little bit, and that causes a big pileup. And if you're Joey Masevich's crew chief, you're saying, okay, we caught our lucky break, and now it's time to come down and pit, because heat cycles do matter on iRacing. But all in all, this is a really tough position to be in.
Huge championship implications early on in just round 3. And I know it's early to start thinking about the championship, but these are the days that can really send it into a spiral. You see right here, the 66, very unhappy with Matthew Jarrett. He parks right in his pit stall, giving him a piece of his mind. I'm pretty sure there's the single finger salute coming out of the 66 machine right now, because I tell you what, that is day done for Blake Reynolds. We remember he had that issue with Tyler Green, had to take the fast repair early on, and now we see heavy damage on that 66 truck. And yeah, this is gonna shake things up. And Will, it sounds like we've got you back, and we just had a little bit of a messy restart. What have you seen out there from the spotter stand?
Yeah, I've been fighting Sarah Connor. We made it through Skynet. We made it through the Terminators. I think we are clear sailing so far here for the end of this race. But I've seen so far, I believe that onboard camera is cursed. Every time we try to ride on board with somebody during a restart, we have a calamity caution that involves so many trucks. For Blake Reynolds in that 66, I don't know about you guys, but he was definitely the fastest truck out on the track here tonight. To have his night end like that, he's going to be very heated next week.
Well, I think he was one of the fastest trucks out there. I agree with you. Early on, he was the fastest truck. He drove through the field, drove straight up to the front, and was in command of this race. But when we got back going green flag racing, it was Nate Stewart that was really in command of this race, and it's still Nate Stewart that is your current leader right now in the number 14 truck. And even though that Blake Reynolds, I mentioned that he was last week's winner, Nate Stewart has been on the podium both times as well. That third place, I believe, at Daytona, the second place at Las Vegas. We mentioned it before the show. Is today going to be the day that the number 14 takes home that top step in the checkered flag, Jeff?
It could be here, but remember, heat cycles are very, very important on iRacing, especially at Old Atlanta. I felt it before myself behind the wheel, so I don't know how much of an impact this would have because they didn't really get the tires heated up, but the fact that they stood on it, had to hit the brakes to avoid calamity, and slid around a bit. 7th place on back has fresh tires. Joey Masevich took his fast repair. He's the first one on fresh tires with now a brand new truck. This just got a whole lot more interesting with 10 laps to go. This is going to be a very interesting battle to the end, I think.
It'll be interesting indeed, and we'll see if we stay green to the end. And if we don't, there are 3 green-white checkered attempts that are on the table here for the eStockCar World Series. And we have those to sort it out. You know, I know that they go and sort it out on the Discord afterwards, but this is the way we do things on the racetrack out here, because then they can go argue about it afterwards. And Will, we're lining things up 2 by 2 for this restart. I actually see a couple of new names just because of some attrition in that last race. You got any insight for me on Christopher Fathke or Crystal King?
Yeah, see, I like Crystal King right there in that. Very strong.
Well,
and Riley in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. You came back right at the end there, but sounded like Skynet was having another attack over on your modem there. And yeah, looks like the lights are out. We got the number 14 truck in command of the field, but Christopher Fathke there in the 08 joining him. Hasn't been running up front, but we'll see what kind of speed the 08, as well as Riley Marabello starting in the 3rd spot. Christy King rounding out the top 4 right now. Barrett Polimas, your 5th place runner, but Barney has the green flag in his hands. 14 already accelerating on the front straight. I tell you what, Fathke's got a lot of problems trying to get the truck up to speed, and that allows this entire lower lane to get a huge jump on the competition. It is Nate Stewart leading the way. Riley Marabello finds himself in 2nd spot. Barrett Polimas in the 3rd position. Joey Masevich in the 4th spot, but already taking a look down low with those fresh tires.
Looks low to the inside of Polimas, but Polimas with a run on the outside may be able to hold him off on the exit of 4 here. Caution is out on track for an incident further back. We'll have to see who's involved.
Tyler Green.
See Tyler Green around in turn 4.
Yeah, conveniently blocked by the timing and scoring pylon there, but we did have the camera on him. This is the 69 Tyler Green. We saw him move his way up towards the front, have a lot of speed recently, but here he is coming through turns 3 and 4, and Jeff, the self-portrait just does not like it when somebody steps in front of the mirror.
You know, If I were in the 89 truck, all I would say is Carlo, or you knew I was coming. That run was there, and Tyler Green just trying to get down to that apex of the corner, and big run from Sean Williams, and push came to shove right there. You really can't cut many breaks with only 7 laps to go. Little bit of damage on my my self-portrait there on the front. The whole hood's pushed in a little bit, but I think I'll be okay there. But let's take a look back up at the front. If you're Nate Stewart or Riley Marabello, Barrett Polhemus, you've now seen a couple different things. You saw that checkup on the restart, and so if you're starting on the outside, you're a little bit nervous. You felt how the tires are now, and now you've put 2 heat cycles on them. That's going to definitely make an impact. I don't think they're going to come down and pit here, but Joey Masevich could have the advantage being on those fresh tires. He's the furthest one up on the freshest tires.
I agree, and he may be the furthest one up on the freshest tires. And I will say, though, that every single restart, that advantage just kind of starts to negate. And oh no, what do we have? Do we have some issue on the back straightaway here? I think this was between a lapped car, though. I think Nicholas Dashley was having some more issues on the back straight. Not exactly sure what happened there, but no worries up front. But that difference there, it starts to negate. And here we see, oh no, is the 23 just trying to warm up the tires? And I think he went full Ricky Taylor into the wall.
Oh no, you simply despise bearing witness to it. And Keaton Swain did a bit of a wheelie there.
Yeah, that was it, Jeff. He wasn't doing anything aggressive, but that shows you how low grip this racetrack is. And the reason why it's low grip is it's abrasive, right? It's abrasive on the tires, so it's high tire degradation, which means low grip. And right there, he wasn't even on the gas, and he just had such low grip, spun up the rear tires and put it into the wall.
And the worst part of it is warming your tires on iRacing in that fashion. The difference it makes is negligible. We've looked into it, iRacers have looked into it. It really doesn't give you any sort of an advantage. So that is very unfortunate for the drivers that were wrapped up and involved. Nicholas, he is going to be out of the race entirely, it seems. Keaton Swain now with front end damage. That is, it just goes to show you can never take time off or take a mental break. There's still 5 laps to go, and it's going to be a green-white checker to the end here, I believe.
I think we should get the lights out this time by, so I think we should have 3 laps to go when we come back to the green flag racing. And surprise, surprise, I say that about Blake Reynolds, but with no Blake Reynolds, Nate Stewart has assumed that top position. And I shouldn't say that the 66 has been the dominant one, because Nate Stewart really has probably been the fastest truck in the last half of the race tonight. Finds himself in the familiar position out front. He's going to be in charge of this restart. And Will, let me see, is Skynet with you, or are they leaving you alone right now?
They took him hostage. Oh no.
All I can picture is Sarah Connor is outside putting the attack on Will's house right now. And with that said, lights are out on the pace car. They're headed into turn 3. And Nate Stewart has the field in his hands. We'll see what kind of games he plays on the restart. And I shouldn't say games, but I should say, does he wait to go on the green? Does he start early? Does he roll into it nicely? Looks like the 15 truck on screen is trying to get into position, and they're getting everything sorted out. Pace car dives down to pit road. The grid is formed up 2x2. Great jump from the number 14 truck. He scoots away from the rest of the field as we do have the green flag. And a little bit further back, 3 wide racing, but for the front 5, everybody gets away cleanly. Nate Stewart leads Barrett Polimas now in second place.
Barrett Polimas hasn't had the short run speed that he's been hoping for, but he might be able to hold off a side-by-side battle behind him between Hayes Booth on the bottom. Hayes Booth looking low. Barrett Polimas is going to block. It's going to be closer than most people park. Coming off of turn number 4, Hayes Booth is there now side-by-side for 4th. Joey Misevich is looking. Remember, he's on the freshest tires. He's going to choose to look to the inside of Hayes Booth here. Hayes Booth goes all the way to the outside. Barrett Polimas chooses to block the high side. Misevich on the bottom. And lots of runs come from the high side off of turn number 2 now. Side by side again for 4th as Hayes Booth looking to the inside going into turn 3.
Yeah, but it's the number 14 truck still out front. He's looking for the white flag. That means there's only going to be 1 lap left. It's Barrett Polimas and Hayes Booth battling it out side by side behind him, but it's the 14 truck that takes the white flag. 1 lap to go here for Nate Stewart being hounded by the 79 truck. We saw the top groove really come into effect late in the run, and here comes the 79 trying to pull that over under. He is going to have the momentum down low on the 14. What is Barrett Polimas going to do with this run down low? Nate Stewart trying to hang on up top. They're going to make contact 14 up into the wall, but it's going to be Barrett Polimas taking home the checkered flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Look at how excited the driver of the 79 is to take home the win.
Wow, what a run to the finish there. Coming off of turn number 4, push came to shove. Barrett Polimas and Nate Stewart came together, but Barrett manages to hold on there, brings home the win, gets some taps on the rear bumper from his buddy Riley Marabello. They were having a great battle earlier on. Hayes Booth finishes in 2nd, Riley Marabello in 3rd, Joey Misevich in 4th, Nate Stewart in 5th, who immediately took the car to the garage right afterwards. What a finish there to the end. Sean Williams in 6th, Crystal King 7th, Christopher Fathke in 8th, Shane Williamson in 9th, and Aiden Berline rounding out the top 10.
Here we're catching the winner. The 79 Barrett Polimas start to burn it down on the front straightaway, rightfully so, with that huge move on Nate Stewart to steal away the win today here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to take a quick break as these trucks continue to burn it down head to head and be back with the official results.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
With a controversial finish here, the number 79 Barrett Polimas. We're going to watch this replay. This is the last lap. This is the 79 Barrett in the 2nd place. Really gets this monster run, doing the over-under, coming off of turn 2, and here headed down into turn 3. He says, you know what? This racetrack is mine, all of it. I'm going to take it all, and makes a little bit of contact with the 14 as he starts to slide up the racetrack, and from there off of 4, he saw the checkered flag. Nobody could catch him. Barrett Polimas taking home the win here at race number 3 of the eStockCar World Series on Maconi Entertainment. And with that, these are the full results. Barrett Polimas 1st place there. Hayes Booth coming home in that 2nd spot. Great run for Riley Marabello, up 9 spots to finish on the podium. Joey Misevich, a great run there in the 4th place position. Nate Stewart unfortunately got shuffled back, falls from 1st place all the way down to 5th, just off of turn 4. Sixth place, Sean Williams. Seventh, Christy King, a great run. Actually, she looks to be our biggest mover in the field, up 17 positions today to the 7th spot. Christopher Fathke, 8th spot. Shane Williamson, 9th, and Aiden Beerline, our original pole sitter, rounds out the top 10.
In 11th, you have Anthony Marsh, 4.5 seconds back. Then Patrick O'Toole, the last car in the lead lap. Troy Nissen, 1 lap down in 13th. Keaton Swain, after being involved in that wreck under caution, finishes 2 laps down in 14th. Brian Toller in 15th. Matthew Hofford, 16th. Jordan Nissen, 17th. Connor Berry, rough luck tonight, in 18th. Matthew Jarrett in 19th. And Tyler Green rounding out the top 20.
And all of these trucks, including Tyler Green, several laps down now. Nathan Ramsey there, Nicholas Dashley, Zach Wheeler, Blake Reynolds, Paul Mikologic, Eric Whitner, Lance Marsh, and Oliver Golding there, all 28 trucks. And with that said, I know that we had a very exciting finish here, and I want to bring in our winner, Mr. Polimus. Now, that was one heck of a finish. We saw the emotion coming out of you. What does this mean for you?
Man, I think a lot of it has to do with how the race was going before that. I didn't get any practice at all because I had to do something real quick, and then we advanced. I wasn't expecting that. So going in there fresh was interesting. I was just we were racing really hard, and it burnt up the right front doing that. So that was already putting us on the back foot. And then the first caution came out with around 5 laps, and I was debating whether or not to pit or not for fuel. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as we come out of the green flag pit cycle later, we were exactly 5 laps short on fuel. So that was one missed call. And then so Blake got wrecked from the lead while he was pitting. And so we're thinking, this is great. We're gonna be we're gonna be in this thing. But then we got stuck a lap down, and then that all kind of went to crap. And so we were stuck a lap down for a while, and then another yellow came out. But it was around like the crossover point where tires were gonna make a huge difference, and I also had to pit for fuel because I was short on fuel. So I had to pit and not take the wave around. And once you know it, if I would have taken the wave around, it would have been back on the lead lap because they wrecked on the restart. So that was another one. And so I get caught up in the wreck on the second time we wrecked on the restart. So that made it even worse because I had to take my quick repair. And so that was like rock bottom right there. And then it went way, way up from there. Cause I got the lucky dog, and not 2-3 laps later, caution comes out, and I get the free pass, and then they wreck on the restart again, and I'm up to P5, and then we get going, and I get to P3 because the outside lane didn't go, and then there's another yellow, so I restart P3, and I'm right behind Nate. I could see him go, and then Riley on the outside, he didn't go very well because he doesn't know when he's going, so I was able to get clear of him, and then I'm running second. I'm just able to draft up to him and run the top side because that's where the momentum's going to be. And we caught him on the back straightaway, went into 3, and just threw it in there. I've already made up my mind I wasn't going to lift. I mean, I made contact with him, but I don't think it's anything that he wouldn't have done. So he can pay me back if he wants to. I'll completely understand, and I'll probably have it coming to you. But I've been in that situation plenty times before where I lifted and lost the race, and I wasn't going to lose this race. So, I mean, it's amazing to get a win like this with a field as stacked as this is. As soon as you take Blake out of the equation, it's really anyone's game. he's really, really good. So to beat anyone in a field with him in the field, even though we got wrecked, it's an accomplishment. So that the strength of the field, and combined with the fact that this was just like a really, really up and down roller coaster day, just made it really, really special.
Yeah, well, it was a great race, and you went through a lot today, and we saw that move coming up out of 4, and was that a little bit of the Darth Vader coming through? You say, no, that's mine, I'ma take it?
Sure. I mean, I didn't want to give it up. I saw the opportunity and I wasn't going to throw it away again. So, I mean, do I feel bad for it? I mean, yeah, kind of, because I don't like, dooring people or wrecking people for the wins. But like I said, I think he would have done the same thing, or at least like made contact with me and put me in the wall or something like that, because we're coming to the win. So you got to do what you got to do. And it's just part of the game sometimes, So like I said before, if he wants to pay me back, then let him do it. I got my win. I'm happy.
Well, yeah, and actually at Daytona, I think you were just outside the top 10, and then you had a really good run at Las Vegas. If I remember, you were inside the top 5 at Las Vegas, and here you're taking home the win at Atlanta. So obviously a lot of positive momentum for you here in this eStockCar World Series. How do you feel on confidence heading to the next racetrack, which is the first road course of the year at Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, Coda's a good track for me. I grew up and used to live only about 45 minutes away from the track, so I know that place like the back of my hand. But I think Blake and Nate and probably Hayes too are gonna have me covered there. I'm decent on road courses, but I'm not the greatest in the world. So just looking for a good finish there, and just enjoy the time on the road. And then we'll see where we end up. If we run well, we run well. If we don't, we don't. We're just gonna go make a race of it regardless.
Awesome. Well, that's a great attitude to have. And last thing, you have anybody that you want to say hi to, Barrett?
Yeah. I think so. I think my team owner Jo has some people watching. I don't know who specifically, but hi, we won the race. And then I gotta thank some people. Turtle Cove Apparel Company, my sponsor on the truck. They gave me a bunch of cool free stuff. They gave me a bunch of stuff to wear under my fire suit in real life. So it's nice and comfortable. If you want some, go to turtlecoveapparel.com, I think, or turtlecoveapparelco.com, and then you can find everything you need there. And then Riley Marabello tonight. He's another teammate of mine. I enlisted more help. We had Sam last week, and now we got Riley this week. Just for being a good teammate and being a good sport about it. He's always just enjoyable to talk to and helps keep me on the down low and whenever things get heated most of the time. So, yeah, good to have teammates like him and Sam, good to have a team owner like Jo, good to have a sponsor like Turtle Cove, and especially you guys, too, for the production quality of this thing, and especially the league so far. It's been rocky, but, I mean, that's for any league in the early stages of its life. So having a field this strong and this big consistently is really good for it. It shows the quality of it. So I've been really impressed by that. So I'm going to try to run this as much as I can, as I'm having fun so far.
Awesome. Well, that was Barrett Polhemus taking home the checkered flag, your winner tonight here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And it looks like Jeff Maconi is standing by with our second place finisher, Hayes Booth.
Hayes, it's Jeff in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you had a great run out there tonight. You were battling for the lead. There was all sorts of restarts going on there at the end. What was going through your mind for that green-white checkered, though, with everything going on? You were stuck in third place there. What were you expecting to happen as the white flag came out and the last lap was there?
Well, I honestly don't really know. I just kind of, I saw that Barrett was, I knew he had the advantage there going through 1 and 2, and I thought, I was trying to rip the top. I even told my spotter. By the way, shout out to my spotter Gino Mero. He's done a great job throughout this season spotting for me. I told him, I was like, I'm just going to rip the top in 1 and 2 because that seems to be where you can get, the most momentum throughout almost any portion of the run. So, I tried doing that, and both Barrett and I were able to get a good run down the backstretch there. And I knew it was going to get sketchy between Barrett and Nate, and I was just kind of trying to wait and just see, or sit there in position to see maybe if they made contact, maybe we could get by. And I saw him kind of get into Nate in 3 and 4, and I thought at first Nate was going to take Barrett with him, and I was like, oh, no, are we actually about to win this race from third? But no, it ended up just being Nate. And But yeah, honestly, considering everything that happened, there were a lot of sketchy moments in that race. So to come home with a P2, especially after how things went last week, it was unfortunate what happened considering we had top 5 pace. But you know, this week coming home with the P2 feels pretty good.
I can imagine it does, and I can't help but notice all the checkered flag memorabilia you got around you. How are you feeling for next week at Circuit of the Americas? Are you going to add another checkered flag to your collection there?
Ooh, I hate to be pessimistic, but if I do win at that track, I will be shocked, especially going up against guys like Nate and Blake, who I'm sure are both really good on road courses. Road courses have never really been my strong suit. I don't know how the trucks are at COTA, but I'm going to try to do some practice for it and just see how it goes. But that's going to be a tough race for sure. So we're just going to try to shoot for whatever spot we can there.
Well, who do you have to thank here tonight for your great run there, bringing it home in second place, and for all the preparation work that you're going to need? Who makes it possible for you to put in all this work to get ready for Circuit of the Americas next week?
Well, first off, I just got to thank my spotter, Gino Mero. Like I said, he's a really good friend of mine, done a great job this season spotting for me. My team at Maverick Motorsports for bringing me on. Only been on there for about a month or so now, but huge thanks to them for bringing me on. My parents for supporting me throughout my sim racing journey. They've been just as passionate about it as I have. All of you guys for broadcasting. Y'all, everybody here has put on a great league. Y'all put on some awesome broadcasts to go back and watch. And most of all, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for him.
Well, you had a great run here tonight. Congratulations on it. You had good pace last week. You had phenomenal pace this week, and you almost brought home the win. Best of luck to you next week at Circuit of the Americas.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
That was your second place finisher there, Hayes Booth, and looks like we finally have Riley Marabello as well in here. Riley, congratulations. You're standing on the final podium spot here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in your first eStockCar World Series race. That one's got to feel pretty good.
Yes, it definitely sure does, and it was one hell of a race. It was up and down and just all over the place. I honestly don't even know where to start.
Well, talk to me a little bit about the relationship that you have with Barrett Polimas, because Barrett definitely gave you some great shout outs and thank yous, and all of the hard work that you guys did as teamwork, really, I guess, this weekend today.
Well, Barrett's like a brother to me. I've known him since pretty much 2020, late 2020 actually, and he's a really good iRacer. Love the guy. Races late models up in real life too, which is pretty cool. Him and I, we work with each other all the time here on iRacing, and we give each other pointers. We used to be on a setup shop together a while ago, but that's now not anymore. But anytime we get the chance, we like to race with each other. So anytime he wins, I'm very happy for him, and just it's awesome to see him win, especially get one. Yeah, he's been so close here, it seems, so far this season.
Well, now I saw that this was your first race here at the eStockCar World Series. It's awesome that you're up on the podium, your first race. Are we going to see you show up for the rest of the rounds, including COTA, the road course, next week?
I'm not 100% sure. I got college coming up. I have a night class on Thursday nights, so I'm probably not going to be able to race in maybe 3 weeks out from now, 2 weeks out from now. So I'll try to make as many races as I can, though.
Well, Riley, before I let you go, do you have anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, I got a lot. First of all, foremost, I'd like to say thank you to Spino Racing. John Owen, you put on a great program there, buddy. Sam Brochu, Barrett Polimas, everybody there who makes this deal possible. I know it ain't real life, but still got to give him credit. Especially Barrett. Congrats on the win, dude. You earned it. Happy for you. Check out Spino Designs and Graphics on Instagram for great paint schemes. Go check out Larson Land on Instagram for all Kyle Larson related content, whether it be dirt racing or the NASCAR Cup Series or whatever else he does. And also, I think that's about it for me.
That was Riley Marabello, your third place finisher here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And that's going to do it for tonight. We want to thank tonight's admin team, as well as our broadcast partners here at Maconi Entertainment. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joey Atterbury, alongside Jeff Maconi and Will Tiller in the booth, with Ryan Bauer producing. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning into tonight's racing action, and we hope to see you on January 24th for the next race of the eStockCar World Series at the first road course of the season, Circuit of the Americas. Catch all the action here on Maconi Entertainment, and also don't miss round 1 of the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. Stay tuned to the Maconi Entertainment social media pages for all of our upcoming broadcasts so you don't miss a thing. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment, and we'll see you next time.